And I am back. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, WatchYoMouthReviews. This is your boy James, where today I'm here to give you my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. Ain't gonna happen in this video, but that's okay. We'll live to fight another day. Joining me is Mrs. Best. Y'all say what's up to her. Okay, she currently on a meeting right now, but that's okay. Any reviews or recaps I don't cover on my channel, it's because we cover on Mrs. Best's channel. So if you guys want to make sure y'all look at Love and Marriage, Love and Marriage, Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta, Miami, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Rhode Island, 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days, and a slew of other shows that are pre-recorded, Mrs. Best is your girl. Make sure you also click on the link to her channel, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to tell you James sent you. So, we then come to Love and Marriage Huntsville beginning scene with Chris and Nell Fletcher as they go to brunch. And as they're going to brunch, Nell is just just giggling, just laughing at everything. Life good now. Because I don't know what she was doing, but she just was a giggling, which is out of the ordinary for Nell. Like for me, Nell, is always, on 10. So the fact that she's sitting up here talking about something and just laughing, I'm just like, okay, Nell. She must have just got her some because I'm telling you, she is just a giggling. So Trish ends up calling Nell and invites her to a girls' night. And Trish will be on the phone talking about life be lifing. Yeah, life is lifing. But I want you to come to this event, Nell. Please come. And Nell says, I will gladly be in attendance, Trish. Thank you for inviting me. I will call you later when I get out of brunch. So, as she gets off the phone, Destiny walks in. Destiny walks in with this big old wig, and I said, Lord, Destiny, you just gonna have to just give us something that we didn't ask for, but okay. So she sits down and she immediately gets right into it. Ain't no time go by, ain't nothing, no pleasantries. She does say hello at least. But she said, I got to tell y'all what happened with Tisha. Me and her just got into it. So Tisha came up to my event throwing shade from the beginning. And she said, oh, congratulations on your first listing. As if she didn't know I did real estate and have done real estate for 19 years. This is not my first listing. Now I said, now Destiny. Now I believe Destiny when she says that she has done real estate. I believe her. I do, because it's easy to get it. Well, not easy, but it's not that hard to get a real estate license. Now, Destiny, my questions are, has the real estate license been active for 19 years? And the reason why, and I'm saying this because you have to go and retest to get your real estate license. Every state is different, but in Arizona, it's every year. I don't know what it is in Alabama because the laws are different. But I know where I live at currently, it's every single year. You have to go and retest. So I don't know if she has, had that license. I'm with you, Pacino Rules. I don't know about 19 years either. I don't know about 19 years. I feel like she maybe have had it 19 years ago and just decided to get it again this year, because there's no way. I don't believe Destiny has been practicing real estate for 19 years and had an active license for 19. I just don't believe that, because if she did, we wouldn't have all those, mug shots, money missing, all these financial woes and stuff, especially when you have other realtors in Huntsville making money. I don't get it, because if that was something you had to fall back on, Destiny, aside from Madani, then you would have made sure when Madani closed its doors that you was out there selling real estate. I'm just saying, that's just how I look at it. I could be wrong and I could be different with a point of view. But I would think that if you was going through all these financial woes, as you say you were back, especially in 2020 and 2021, I would think that if you had this real estate license, you would be selling real estate on top of Madani. But okay, I move on. But she tells them about her, argument with Tisha, and she said that as they were getting into it, she said that this friendship is hard work. And Tisha, they play back that scene, hard work. And that tickled Nell and Chris to every extent, and she said that the friendship is too hard. And Chris mentions that he also had a run-in with Marceau. And he said that, when it came to, the licensing and this questioning, Marceau said, why didn't you tell me? And Destiny's like, well, did y'all have any business dealings with each other? Like, why would you need to tell him? And he said, not a thing. The one thing we were talking about collaborating on, it fell through and we never mentioned it again. And that was 2 years ago. So I don't know why he felt like I needed to say anything. And they're kind of coming to the conclusion about the Scots that, the friendships, there seems to be some like underlying issues with, having friendships and them having people in lives because they always expect this loyalty and these, affirmations of people that is just so unrealistic when it comes to friends. Yes, you expect some type of, loyalty, prospects and things from your friends, but it's not supposed to be the element of like, oh my gosh, well, they need to bow down to you and kiss your ass. Like, it doesn't have to be all of that either. So, hey, Keywan, thank you for being here. I appreciate you, my love. Hope you're doing well. Hope your overtime wasn't too crazy. I know you be working hard, and we hope to see you on YouTube. I hope to get you on the live one day this week. But yeah, but that was pretty much it. I don't know if Mrs. Best is available at this time right now. I'm gonna move on to the next scene if she's not. It doesn't sound like she's still in her meeting, so we'll go ahead and move forward. But we then move on to Trish and Ken. So Trish and Ken are talking because a lot has happened between them two. A lot has happened. So we have the infamous registered nurse over there in Nashville, where Ken was dating her. He done went to the birthday party, and they was booed up, and Trish found out about it. And when they're having this conversation, he is pretty much saying that I did this, so I can get a reaction out of you because everything that happened with your ex, everything and that's going on, you just been stone cold. So I did this to get a reaction out of you to see how you would feel and to hurt you. I said, what? Hold on a minute. Trish is better than I ever could have been. Because I know men do this. I know men like to, when they not getting their way with women. I know a lot of men who do this. When they don't get their way, they do very drastic shit to get a reaction out of them. And sometimes that is entertaining a conversation with the young lady or something like. Oh, I'm hearing an echo. What's going on? Uh-oh.
Is it my fault? I unmuted. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, it is. Okay. No, it's okay. So where was I at, y'all? So I was saying I know a lot of men who do this, that entertain a conversation or flirt with the girl down to the bar just to get a reaction out they old ladies, just do that. But I feel like that is just so disrespectful. If there is a discord in communication, or if y'all have, rambled into the relationship in a whole different way, then what needs to happen is y'all need to stop, break down communication, find the disconnect, and work through it. If y'all really love each other, not you go and meet up with some other lady because y'all were on a quote unquote break and you wanted to be with this lady to spite Trish. That is crazy as hell. So Trish just stood there and said, okay, Ken, I'm not innocent. I've had my dealings as well. But it is what it is. I miss you. I really do. I miss our relationship. The kids miss you. Everything is, crazy since you have not been here. But, are you still seeing this young lady? Like, are y'all still talking? And Ken says, no, we're not talking. And he goes, and I miss you too. And I want to be back here and I want to be with you. And, I miss our life together. She goes, I agree. So, we should try this again, for the 10th time. But we should try this again. And I think that, it will work out this time. I'm confident it will work. Because now we've gotten through all of the mishaps that we got through. But it's going to work, Ken. It's going to work. Carlos, get these people off my screen, please. Listen, it was nice in the beginning because we got to see in real time and do the bullshit that these two was giving us, that it wasn't all copacetic. But now, like DM Rock said, what else can we do with these two people? They're not together in real time today. Ken over there, doing thirst traps with his man Will over there. I don't know what the fuck Trish is doing. We don't need to see them no more. So I'm hoping this is their last season. Y'all need to find somebody else. Actually, y'all need a couple more couples and get rid of Martell while y'all at it. But after their conversation or whatever that was supposed to be, Chris and Nail. So they are going over to Lance's house this time. They didn't want people at their house. So they're going over to Chris and Lance's house. Kayla, the youngest daughter, is there. So she's there. And also the youngest son, Chris, is there as well. And so they're sitting down, talking because Nell said she has had it up to here with everything that's going on following Lance's birthday when him and old girl Kiera, it revealed they're not together anymore. So Nell said, listen here, I'm trying to be patient with y'all. I'm trying to, understand. But I'm going to tell all three of y'all right now, if the relationship ain't serious, don't y'all bring them people to my house. Don't be having me cook for them. Don't be having, if y'all not serious, don't be doing that. And Lance gonna say, well, it's not about that being serious. I should bring anybody over to your house. And if I feel good about them, that's what should happen. And she said, and that's the problem right there, especially with you, because you got 3 little babies. And you don't need to be bringing all these little girls up in there, introducing them to your kids and stuff and creating all this friction and this foolishness, Lance. And he goes, well, I don't know what you want me to do. If this is how I feel, this is what it's going to be. And she said, and that's the problem. You up over here, you date these little girls, you don't know what you're doing over there, having one night stands or one offs or whatever the hell y'all call these things. You sit over there and you're having babies and everything. And Lance gonna say, well, see, if I was married, you would be complaining. And she said, and that's the point, Lance. Wrap that shit up. I don't care if you put some saran wrap, some foil, some Ziploc bag. I don't care what it is. Wrap that shit up because I don't want no more babies out of you. I got to deal with your babies, and then here come Chris with his baby, and I feel like I got twins. I love my grandbabies, but y'all be doing too much. You need to wrap that shit up. And what we come to find out about Lance is Lance has been married twice and has 3 baby mamas. Now, from what people are telling me, the first wife has his oldest daughter, which is Pacino Rules saying is the 16-year-old or is the oldest baby. She's in her teenage years now. I don't think she's 16, but she's in her teenage years. I'm hearing that may have been his first wife, and then he was married again after that, and then he has 3 different baby mamas. That's a lot. Because if you're not seeing the issue with that, I don't know what's going on in Alabama. I don't know. I don't understand it. But this seems to be very familiar in how men move out there. And I don't understand what y'all are not seeing because Lance is very nonchalant. He says that for his age, that's not that bad. Having 3 baby mamas and been married twice, he feels like he's on par with where he should be in his life. And I'm just looking at the screen like, wow. I think Lance's responses were irresponsible, especially as a father. 2 kids. I'm not saying he's a neglectful father. I'm not saying that. He seems like he's very active in his kid's life. It almost looks like he has full custody because these kids are always around and he's always having to bring them over to Nell's house or to Kayla's house or somebody's house, when he wants to go out there and turn up. So I think he's a very active father. But my problem is that I think you don't know what you're looking for in somebody. So when you don't know what you're looking for and you thinking this girl's just cute, she bad, she got a good body, she's, she got a good job, she's an entrepreneur just like me, just because y'all match on paper does not mean y'all match in life. And I think you need to understand that. I know he has a girlfriend now from what I said. I saw the Valentine's photo shoot. I thought it was cute. But at the end of the day, I think you're not looking at it correctly because it's more than just checks and balances. There's emotions. There is camaraderie. Do y'all get along? Do y'all understand each other? Are your backgrounds conflicted into your personal todays? There's so much that goes into finding the right person. I get wanting to be married and want to find that forever person. But there's so much that goes into it that you have to weigh out the pros and cons and understand that people are going to fall short and you're not going to get everything you need out of somebody. It's just, that's how life is. We're all different human beings. So I think that he just has a very bad point of view of what he wants and also mixing that with being lonely because that's what he's saying in terms of how he's feeling.
He ain't that damn lonely. Homeboy done had 3 wives, got 3 baby mamas, and got a different hoe each season. He can't be that lonely. Lance is exactly why I don't date men my age. He is my age. At my age, if you have 3 kids, and you have 3 baby mamas at 34 years old, I'm sorry, sir. Y'all love to judge females, but now I'm judging you. You're not the creme of the crop, sir. You're not my first pick. You will never be no bitch's first pick. And I feel like deep down he might know that a little bit. Like, don't nobody want no man with 3 kids and 3 different baby mamas who's only 34 years old with a mama as loud and nosy and in your business as Nell. Nobody wants to deal with that. And no shade to Lance. It looked like he has a great package between his thighs, but outside of that, he ain't all of that. So I just feel like he needs to understand he's not a catch. And I agree with Keywan. He's highly irresponsible. Yeah. If a woman have 3 kids and 1 baby daddy, she would be judged, said that to a lot of men she's not dateable, they can only go so far. But a nigga with 3 kids and 3 different baby mamas is supposed to be what, just treated like it could be better? No. And I don't understand why Nell don't take accountability. Your son is this way because of you. It was your job to teach him the value in women.
Exactly.
And you failed at that. You may not have failed in other places, but you definitely failed at teaching him to respect women. Because if he respected women, he would not have 3 kids by 3 different women. Exactly. And have been on 2 marriages. Like, you can't figure it out after the second marriage, sir. So I exactly, Keywan. He's just a hoe that don't want to hear that he a hoe. Because as quiet as it's kept, nobody respects people who move like that.
And she sure did. Right. She sure did. And the thing about it is, them men over there on the dance floor with her holding hands and putting her in a sandwich. But she was the one getting judged. That's why I didn't judge her. I didn't. I said them 2 men, if I had not known any better, I would have thought they were a couple. Just
and by at least that seemed fake. At least that seemed fake. Like Lance and his kids and what he do with his dirty dick, that's not fake. That's actually his lifestyle. And he cannot say that that's something for the show. So I'm not trying to down this man because there are a lot of good qualities about him. But as it relates to dating, the nigga is trash.
I just think he just gives me one of those men that thinks he's prettier than the woman. So they should be worshiping him. He gives me that. I don't know. I'm
about to make a colorist comment and y'all not going to like me for it. But these light-skinned black men sometimes be acting a little bit different.
They do. No, they do. You are 100% correct. That's why I never go for them, because I don't want that to be the element of our relationship where I have to, because you think you're prettier than me, that means that I have to bow down to you. It's the Simone Biles and Jonathan Owens thing. I really feel like that's really what we're looking at. Even though they have calmed down now in today's time, they're very much acting
he got roasted and canceled.
Yes, absolutely. But that's exactly what he meant by saying he was the prize. I'm light-skinned with the big dimple and the green eyes. I'm the prize. Look at her and look at me. But that's exactly what that was given. So, and I feel like it's the same thing with Lance. I feel like you think that you're prettier than these women. And I feel like you think that they should be just so happy to be attached to you. And that's why it doesn't work, because women don't move like that anymore. That was a 90s and 80s thing. That does not happen in today's
this to Lance. Send Lance. I want to see him date a woman from Oakland, California, New York City. I want to see him date a crazy Florida bred and born woman, and we'll see how far he get. Because I also feel like he's getting away with what he gets away with because of the location of where he lives, the availability of men that's there. Because if you put him anywhere else more populated, he would quickly figure out you ain't no catch, sir. And I just want Nell to be honest with her child without going off. Sometimes I feel like Nell talks to her kids for this, like for the camera. I feel like the Fletchers could, though, even though they get on my nerve. They have enough content. Give them their own show or something. Why have them on here? Because it seems like every time we get a lot of the Fletchers, we get like none of the Scotts, which I'm totally fine with. But
yeah, I was fine with that too. I didn't need the Scotts this episode. I really didn't. Like, Letitia drove me crazy enough for them not to show up for 3 more episodes. So I'm sorry. So we need to do that. But no, I do agree. They need their own show. They need a spinoff. Because I feel like, to me, all the kids have some crazy ass story, which we'll get into in just a second. All of them have a crazy ass story that I'm like, I'm more invested into that than I am Ken and Trish or the Scotts. So yeah, and Destiny too. So, you know, but that was pretty much all that happened right there. Nell said, I'm tired of y'all. I'm sick of this arguing. I'm sick of all this. I'm going to go see my grandbaby. So obviously the kids were there, probably in another room, which, you know, they had to hear all this mess and your grandmama hollering. But, you know, That's a black family for you. We're gonna move on. So Destiny meets up with Twan. You know, she ain't seen them since, that 80s, 90s party. And, she wanted to see, check in with him and everything. And it was a whole bunch of nothing, y'all. And I was not moved by this conversation. I'm gonna talk up a little bit about it. They said that, she told Nell that they were dating, and Nell, didn't have much to say because apparently she was dating Lance, which I never believed. But she says that Nell would seem cool about it and whatever, and they were talking about business and all how she still wants him to be the bodyguard. She's still interested in doing business with him. She still wants all of that. And she asked him if he was dating anybody, and he said no. And then he says, "Well, have you heard about any rumors about me?" And she said, "No, I ain't heard. I ain't never heard no rumors about you." And he goes, "Well, there was this one rumor about me. Me being with Kayla." And I feel, bad about that. And she goes, "Ain't that supposed to be like your sister?" Like, he goes, "Yeah, and I'm always around. I'm normally around the men like Chris and Lance and all them. I'm not really around Kayla too much or Nail, but I'm really around the guys all the time." And, I just hate that kind of thing will be out there because, it's not true. And I just don't like all of, what I'm hearing. Now, as he's talking about this, one, I felt that was random as hell to bring up, and to Destiny of all people, knowing that could get back to Nail. So I felt like, okay, are we planting the seed and we supposed to follow this as a storyline? I don't know how to really judge this just yet. Like, I don't know how to really assess this because from what I'm seeing, they do work out together and they do post together on Instagram. But I didn't take that as this is a couple. I took that knowing who they were and who they are to Nail, that this was just, two siblings meeting up and, being on the gram. So that's just how I looked at it. Mrs. Best, am I wrong with how I looked at it? Did I assess it wrong? So.
My bad. My fucking dumbass client called me.
No problem.
I probably shouldn't say that on the internet. What did you assess?
No, I was saying when Twan brought up, that there was a rumor about him and Kayla, Nell's daughter, dating, and we saw, that they work out together, they post on Instagram. I didn't take that as they were a couple. I took that as like, okay, these are just two siblings working out, like because we know who they are. But maybe
they're not two siblings working out. That's her god brother. That's just some play type. You know how black folk are. Nell probably had a best friend who had a kid. And that's my god, baby. That's it. Look, ain't no kidding to her. Apparently, that's how Kayla and them taking it. I wouldn't take someone posting though themselves with somebody working out just off rip as them dating. I would not assume that. I feel like there's more to the story or more to the post. I would have to see the post to properly assess it, but I don't see the big deal. Isn't that the goal? Wouldn't you want?
Just because when you look at them on Instagram, because I did see them on Instagram, and I didn't take that as like, because he was kind of like dancing. Like if he had put his arm around her, or if he was engaging with her, where they were, connecting like body language, then maybe I would have a difference in opinion. But they were just literally standing side by side. He was kind of doing this weird like back and forth dancing with his feet, and I was like, okay, fine.
He said, my thing is, if he's the god brother and she's known him for so long, there would be rumors or something that would have came out prior to these posts.
Right.
Because of how much they're around each other. But also, if they are dating, what is the fucking big deal? What's the big deal?
We don't know what the big deal is. We're gonna get there in a minute. But
like if they are dating, wouldn't you want your daughter to be with the friend that was so close that you raising them like family? When you want them to be together, like I don't see the problem.
We're gonna get into it in just a second. Also, the Fletchers need to decide how much of their personal business they want to tell on the show. They need more than talking about Lance.
That's true.
I feel like Lance wants to be on the show, and I feel like this is the only segue they can to put him on there because I don't know why Carlos won't make him a full-time cast member. I felt like
because it doesn't mix. It doesn't mix, but honestly, this cast doesn't mix. So he may as well make Lance a cast member because it does come off as Nell using her kids as a storyline when the only thing I want to see her talk about, what is Fletcher doing with his day since he came broke or nothing? That's all I really care to see. I don't care about what Lance got going on. I don't care about Twan dating Kay.
What's
I don't
Fletcher
either.
doing with his day? Keep his ass away from that daycare.
Yes. But nevertheless, Twan and Destiny said they're going to work out and have this little flirty, banter between them two, as if we care. She said, you're fine. So, I got to focus. And I was like, Destiny, I don't know what fine is to you, but okay. I mean, that's not what I'm looking at, but, to each his own. Everybody has different tastes. Everybody's not like me, and I'm not like everybody else. But then we move on to Nell's house. Lance drops by. He heard his mama this time. And he said, he actually went to his son's softball or baseball game. And, his son says he wants, dad to focus and teach him things like how to do a proper push up. He wants to be big. He wants to be swole. And when he heard his son say that, he was like, yeah, I got to stop playing. I got to stop wilding outside. I need to be there and focus on my kids. So he said, Mama, I heard you. And I just want to say, I hear you. And that just brought a smile to Nell's face. Nell's just so happy. And, thankful that Lance finally heard her, and about all these different women and then bringing around his kids and stuff. She's glad that he finally heard that. Destiny shows up out of nowhere and decides, to pop it up on Nell. And she said, hey, Destiny. She said, nah, sit next to Lance so I can just look at y'all together. I just want to see. And I'm looking at Nell. I said, Nell, you in this ponytail. I cannot. So, Destiny said, I wish I was here, on better terms, but, I was just told some information that was, that was quite disturbing, and I feel like you should know. And Nell, y'all gonna stop playing with Nell. Y'all gonna raise this lady blood pressure up. I'm telling y'all gonna raise this lady blood pressure. She already hanging on by a thread. And y'all just gonna keep telling her shit to keep her from explode. She gonna explode. So Destiny tells Nell that, I guess there's some rumblings about Twan and Kayla dating. And the whole time Lance's face is like, and I'm like, see, you messy. You ain't got to do all of that. And Nell said, what you talking about? Kayla who? Twan who? She said, Twan and Kayla, that there's a rumor out there that they may be dating. Nell said, well, what the fuck going on? Wait a minute. Now, hold the hell. This too much. This too much. And the whole time, Lance's like, listen, I'm glad it ain't me finally listening. I'm glad it's on Kayla this time because I'm tired of this. I'm tired of Nell always coming at me with something. It's good to just finally happen on Kayla. And I hate when siblings do this. I hate when y'all wait for the good one for the shoe to drop on them. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody does things. Y'all stop doing that. And Nell's out. Nell done had it. Nell was like, God damn it, I done told y'all I don't want none of this going on. What else are y'all not telling me? What else? Why you ain't saying nothing to me, Lance? He goes, I didn't know nothing about it. She said, oh, so y'all just sitting up here, y'all just gonna date people and just do all this thing. Nell is going off, just completely going off. And she goes, and now I'm still over here listening to my baby. She ain't told me none of this. And they're like, Nell, it's just a rumor. It's just so she goes, no, it ain't no rumor. No. Why is somebody like that out there like that? Why is there something like that out there like that about your sister? Why you didn't tell me? Why don't you know? And he goes, Kayla is grown. Like, what you want me to do? She goes, y'all talk, y'all know you know something. So I'm just supposed to just accept that my kids out here just wild and just being with everybody. And everybody under the Huntsville sun. I'm supposed to just sit here and just do all this. And I'll tell you, Nell is going off. And I said, well, Nell, God damn, what you want these kids to do? I mean, like Mrs. Best said, would it really be that bad of a thing? They're not blood related. It probably is one of those situations where you and the homegirl back in the day, you probably got pregnant as teenagers or whatever and had these babies. It's probably a situation like that. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I have a cousin in this situation. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Now, you would hope that she would be with somebody you know versus somebody you don't, especially in these days. So I kind of agree with Mrs. Best for saying what would be the big deal. But baby Nell is throwing tantrums. She is going crazy. And Destiny's like, well, damn, maybe I shouldn't have said nothing. You think
this lady freak out if it rained, but the forecast said it's just going to be partly cloudy? Like, Nell is exhausting sometimes. What? Like, if I was her godson, I'd be offended. I really would.
I would be too. Like, what you trying to say?
What is it about him that makes you not want him with your daughter? Like, especially if you participated in raising him and stuff. Like, why wouldn't you want him with your daughter? But I'm hollering at Keywan comment. She says she act like she the guardian of her
I'm
kids'
trying to
private
tell
part.
you
It's
like,
weird.
it's
Let them
weird.
date. Get a life.
No, with the land shit, I understand. No, the land shit, I understand. I do. I understand it because to some degree, you shouldn't have every, Becky, Susie, and Shaniqua around your baby when you want some. You should not be doing that. That I agree with. Now, when it comes to Kayla, I don't understand this because she has to date. She has to get out there. She's young. She's in her 20s. Like, and if Twan happened to throw it at her, she should catch it. Like, they're not blood. So, you would want her to have experiences. There's nothing worse than someone who's missed out a decade of life because they're so worried about their mama mouth. Like, it's just, I don't understand that. But yeah, Nell lost her fucking mind when she got that news about Kayla and Twan, and it's just a rumor. We don't know if it's true. I don't think it's true. I mean, I don't know. Next week it looked like it was based on the little preview. But I just don't think Nell should be this damn bit tight, hollering, standing up out her seat with a mouthful of food, talking about what else is out there? What else on my kids? I was just like, Nell, god damn, like, girl, you gonna get yourself a heart attack. Like, seriously, all this damn hollering, all this damn jumping up and down and shit. I can't even take it. I ain't even one of your kids. Like, shit. No wonder these kids be doing what they be doing and don't be telling you shit to the last minute. Hell, I wouldn't tell you nothing either. Because if you acting like this over a rumor, hell, I could only imagine. Kayla, listen. If you watch Watch Your Mouth Reviews, listen to your cousin James. When I tell you, don't show up to that house pregnant unless you married, please. And when you find you a husband, hell, find him outside of Huntsville, so that way your mama can just be happy it's not somebody she know. Find somebody outside of Huntsville. You are a beautiful young lady. Find somebody else, please, because I can't take your mama in all this hollering and all this jumping up and down and shit and losing her mind over the smallest little thing. I get that, mama, but it's a lot. And I get why her kids are so secretive. I totally understand that. I have a mama with a loud mouth too. I don't tell her everything. I don't. I tell her the important things, the things that I know she would need to know. Other than that, I don't say who I'm dating. I don't tell her who my friends are. I don't do none of that because there's things that my mom should know. There's things she shouldn't. And that's solely based on responsiveness because my mom doesn't always respond correctly. So yes, I get it. So I'm telling you, as someone who also has a mom with a loud mouth, don't tell her everything. But don't be so secretive.
Common sense. That should be. I mean, your parents don't need to know everything.
Once it's different when they're on a reality TV show.
I mean, even so, even on a reality TV show, I feel like if you have to grasp from Nell's children for storylines, then do better. Do better.
Well, what I'm saying is there's no privacy anymore because they're not public figures. Their parents are on TV. They've appeared on said TV show. So they're no longer, private citizens. They're not public figures where they're going to be recognized if
Nell
they go out to the...
and maybe Lance. But to dig this deep into her family storyline, which she does often, it's unrealistic. Make the Scots work for their check. They've been getting by for 11 seasons off of doing nothing.
I don't know. I never know what to say about the Scots because, that do Neil have sisters or friends? Oh,
does she have somebody? My mama got 4 kids. It's 4 of us. And she is loud as hell. She do too much. And my younger sister makes the decision to not really talk to family about her partner. She only brings them around the family. I'll meet them, but the rest of the family, she won't bring them around them until she's been with them for like well over a year. She just won't do it. If you know your parents is a certain way, then you can't tell them everything. You got to move in ways that make sense. But my mama wouldn't have even noticed because she got her own friends and aunties and cousins and just people she's known forever. And I know James's mom has hers. So
yeah,
that is a good question, Keywan, because Nell is so involved with her kids. Her daughter's working with her at the daycare. When she's not with her kids, she's with her husband. And she doesn't do well in like girl settings, like girlfriend settings. So I don't know. Maybe she need a friend.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. We don't know much about her other than that, she has this daycare. She's been married to this man who was cheated on her. She has, 4. I'm gonna say 4. I'm not gonna discard Lexi like that. She has 4. They have 4 children together, and it just seems like she's so involved. And I think that's because she's, not only giving her kids money, but also being the babysitter and doing all this. I think she has devoted her life to surround herself with her children, which is a dangerous thing to do as a parent after your children have become grown. I think that it is dangerous to always be the, yes person. Because like I said, I don't have that kind of mom. My mom is not going to watch my kids. She's not going to do this. She's not going to babysit while I go and, pop this ass all over the club and come back home at 3 o'clock. My mom's not going to do that. She's just not that person. My grandmother, yes, will do that. But my mother, no. My mom is not that kind of grandmother. So I feel like, to me, Annelle needs some friends. She needs a sister girl group. She needs a traveling girl group. She needs all of that. Because you should not be raising your blood pressure up this high over a rumor about your daughter that you don't know is true. And if it is true, it's not like you don't know the young man. So let's stop playing. Also, you need to get out of Lance's business. Where if he want to bring Becky, Susie, or Shaniqua over to his house, because I don't know what his cream of crop is. He like dark-skinned women from what I can see. So I'm going to say LaTracy and Shaniqua. If she want to bring them over to the house, fine. But just let him have ordinance, and he'll figure it out eventually, because at some point that's going to get old. It's going to get old. It really is. It's going to get old. Maybe it may take a baby or two, but it will get old now. Trust me. He going to want to stop doing it after a while, because he going to realize maybe when it's too late, the shit don't work no more. And usually too late means, the man on Iyanla Vanzant with the 32 kids. Usually that's when it's too late. So you be all right. He in good company. So that's about it. It was, as I say, the episode wasn't much, y'all. It really was. It was Nell hollering at her kids, hollering about a situation. It was, everyone's reactions to the Scots, and it was Ken and Trisha. That was all the episode was. This was definitely one of my
too. They can go. I don't know why Martell is still on this show, because he hardly films.
Right.
I don't know why he's still. Maybe he should just be a friend of. I really feel like they should get rid of all of the people who've been there since season 1, and that'll help. Oh my God. I gotta go, James. I'm sorry.
No problem. It's all right. I'm about to end the live anyway. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for being here. Let me know what y'all thought of the episode, and what y'all think about Nell and her kids and all their individual situations. Let me know what you think about Kayla and this whole situation with her godbrother. Do you think it's wrong if they were to start dating? Tell me what you think about that. Also, what do you think about Ken and Trisha? They're not together in real time. Do y'all see the ties unraveling? Let me know what y'all really think about this episode, because like I said, it wasn't much. They didn't give us a whole lot. So that's why this live is very short. But let me know what y'all think. Thank you for everyone who was here. I appreciate y'all. My next live will be Real Housewives of Atlanta, which I will be doing in about a couple of hours. I just need to rewatch the episode real quick. But I will see you guys on my next live. Have a good one, y'all. Bye-bye.